What's good, guys? We're back at it again. Back at it again with the full card predictions. This is newly updated. Finally, we fight week, baby. Finally, the break is over. I'm tired of watching football. The Chiefs are going to take it home. Chiefs are going to take it home against the Eagles. We'll see how it goes. That was a good game yesterday. That's why I wasn't able to upload yesterday, but let's go. We're going to be breaking down the entire UFC Saudi card. I do want to mention, guys, there is a lot of cancellation bouts. Ikram Alaskara versus Andre Muniz is canceled, rescheduled. Probably because of passport issues, but I don't know when's the next time we're going to see these two fight. Maybe on a pay-per-view? I don't know. Abdul Karim Al-Selwadi versus Jordan Levitt is off. Balahi Oki stepped in, and guess what? He pulls out today. So, we lost 2 fights. That means this is an 11-fight card, just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11-fight card, so it's going to be a little bit of a faster breakdown. We're going to break down each and every single one of these fights, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. I will say the people's main event, guys. You guys already know. It's Vinicius Oliveira versus Said Nurmagomedov. It's by far one of my most anticipated fights, guys. Stay tuned for Wednesday. 6 best bets lock of the week. And on Friday is going to be the last-minute predictions, followed by the face-offs. We look at the face-offs, and I tell you guys who I think is going to win the match based on their final face-off. So stay tuned for that, guys. Here we go. Prelim, Hamdy Abdelwahab versus Jamal Pogues. Guys, this is my 3rd time breaking down this entire card from top to bottom. If you guys have seen every single one, drop a like, guys. You are very much appreciated. We've been breaking down this card for a month now. So let's do it. I'm devastated. Abdul Selwadi's out. I'm devastated that he's out, to be honest, because I thought he had a chance against Balahi Oki. Although Selwadi got finished in all 4 of his losses, I thought Selwadi could have still been able to win that by unanimous decision. But that's gone. Here we go. Let's talk about the real stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's go. Hamdy Abdelwahab, plus 114 versus Jamal Pogues, who's a minus 146. And these odds are going to be fluctuating. Obviously, I can double check, but I will say, guys, one of the most important aspects of this is he's the first Egyptian fighter. Everybody's been mentioning this. Jamal Pogues is right here on Tapology. I'm just going to double check to see if these odds are correct. Majority Tapology has this fight to go the distance. Majority of Tapology. Hamdy Abdelwahab is a minus 106. Jamal Pogues is a minus 120. So, earlier, a month ago, he was a plus 114 and Jamal Pogues was a minus 146. So it seems like the money's coming in on the newcomer, Hamdy Abdelwahab. I won't call him a newcomer because we've seen him. He only has 3 fights, though. And he's a very, 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 very skid, little bit of a red flag. He popped. He's popped for steroids before, or correct me if I'm wrong, he's popped for a performance-enhancing drug. I will say the money's coming in on the first Egyptian UFC Olympic wrestler. Obviously, we know that he's competed for Iran. Very new record, very slow striker, decent power, sometimes strikes way too much when he can clearly rush to victory. Low volume. He had an issue with USADA, but that's over with now. Jamal Pogues has better volume, better pace, but not much better power. First fight on Dana White Contender Series, he had 7 takedowns. Not a finisher. Jamal just beat Thomas Petersen, who we know was faced off against Shamil Gaziev up the card. Jamal can grapple. Olympic athlete is a very good stat, but sometimes Olympic wrestling doesn't always translate that well. We know Aljamain, it wasn't Prime Cejudo, but Aljamain was able to work Prime. Triple C. Triple C has a lot of Olympic stats. I'm not going to just say because he's an Olympic athlete, I'm going to pick him. I'm going to say this fight's going to be a little bit sketchy. I like the over 2.5. Somebody could get finished in this fight, but I will say I do think this is going to be a sloppy fight, but I'm going to take Abdelwahab by KO on points. I think it's more likely. 56% of Tapology's picking him. I like by KO on points, in my opinion. I love the double chance. I don't think a submission is likely, and he's from New York. And one of my biggest considerations and factors is Jamal looks like a fish out of water after getting taken down. But if Jamal Pogues takes him down, he can win this fight. I will say it's a minus 100 gambler type fight. I'm going to go Hamdy Abdelwahab. Very low confidence. But let's go, my guy. Let's go. This was funny. Somebody said that Bogdan Grad. Bogdan is the name from the evil guy from Breaking Bad. So I thought that was funny as hell, bro, because we know there's a lot of Bogdans. There's been a lot of Bogdan Guskov, Bogdan Grad. Who's the next Bogdan? We'll figure it out. Bogdan Grad minus 120, Lucas Alexander minus 106. Bogdan is always well-rounded, but doesn't chase the finish. He has very good kicks in wrestling, looking forward, and he's looking for control, but can't find a sub ever. He's going against Lucas Alexander, the Lion. He has good takedown defense and scrambles, decent strength. Just recently lost by KO to Jeka Sarigai around a year ago, but his cardio is not the best. I will say, taking a year off, we know Gaethje is going to fight Hooker. He's taken a year off since that Max Holloway KO. If you get brutally KO'd, a year off, and 2 months, a year, anything over a year is the perfect amount of time to take off. Bogdan is so bad. He has 11 stoppages, and I said this last week. He's a decision merchant, padded record, but he can get the job done. Bogdan needs to wrestle a good double leg, and he can fight at his pace. I will say, Brazil's always going to bring everything. So this is a pick 'em fight. If I'm going to take anybody, I'm going to take Bogdan Grad, and I'm going to take him by unanimous decision, but I'm just going to take money line. I'm going to take money line. In my opinion, sometimes Bogdan has the chance to find a submission. If it's Oliveira would lock in that submission. But sometimes Bogdan Grad is not able to get the finish. He's not able to find the finish, and he's able to just win by decision. He has a little bit of... if you don't agree with me, you could say it in the comment section, but I'd say it's a little bit of a padded record depending on who he's fighting. He's able to get a couple of quick finishes in the first round, but if he's not able to finish you in the first round, he's more than likely going to go to a split decision or a unanimous decision, in my opinion. I'm going to take Bogdan Grad. Very, very low confidence. I wouldn't bet on this fight, to be honest. If I'm going to bet on this fight, I'll bet that this fight goes the distance. Bogdan Grad to win against Lucas Alexander by unanimous decision. I'll go 29-28. Let's go. Tune into my 6 best bets and lock of the week, because that's all I'm going to say. Just tune in for my 6 best bets and lock of the week. That's all I'm going to say. Jasudavicius versus Mayra Bueno Silva, by far one of my most anticipated fights. Jasudavicius is a girl who will fight for your money and fits the price tag. A month ago, Jasmine was a minus 205, Mayra Bueno Silva was a plus 158. Now, Jasudavicius is a minus 230, and Mayra Bueno Silva is a plus 176. So, the money's coming in on Jasudavicius. First UFC women's fight in Saudi Arabia. UFC women's fight, because the PFL had a women's fight in Saudi Arabia. I will say, this is a very good milestone. I said this last time as well. I think we should have more women MMA fights in Saudi Arabia. We'll have better matchups. We'll have more elite matchups. And Saudi Arabia gets a treat. I think this is an absolute milestone. And in the future, these women will be the pioneers of the next, women's MMA UFC fights. They're the first ones to get it done. It's a milestone. It's a record. Jasmine, hard wrestler, sometimes gets hate because of her lackluster performances. I will say she's an excellent demon in the clinch. And once on the ground, she can control for a decent amount of time. She's wrestled ever since she was little, always pushing forward. Just beat Ariana Lipski. She finished Lipski with 2 seconds to spare of the 2 minute and 30 second mark of the third round. So if you had the over 2.5, it crashed and burned. I will say I do think the over 2.5 is more than likely to hit in this fight. If, and I say a massive if, there is a stoppage in this fight, it's by submission. We do know, though, Jasudavicius was able to get a nice Darce choke. She's just like Islam Makhachev with that Darce choke. She loves it. It's probably one of her favorite submissions, and she's mastering her Darce. I will say Jasudavicius is gonna be the pick, but she's taking on a former title challenger. Very good power, decent kicks, insane BJJ, and she is an absolute finisher. One of the most dangerous finishers in her division. So if you're taking the over 2.5, be careful. She just recently lost to Macy Chiasson, where she won the first round, but she lost to Dr. Stoppage. We all know it was a brutal opening in the cut, and she was no longer able to continue, but it was a very competitive fight before that. I always look at momentum, and sometimes it doesn't always work, but with who has been more consistent is Jasmine. She has a blueprint, and she should be able to win by unanimous decision. I don't think she's going to be able to find a sub because Mayra Bueno Silva is a BJJ expert. If there is any type of finish, it's going to be on Mayra Bueno Silva. I like the plus 3.5. Maybe Mayra Bueno Silva can take a round off of your girl Jasudavicius, But I'm going to be going Jasudavicius, and I'm going to go heavy on Jasudavicius, guys. I think she should be able to win this fight. I'll take Jasudavicius by decision, and I'll take her by submission on points, just in case it's another Ariana Lipski, and the over 2.5 crashes and burns. But it should be good. The over 2.5 should be an absolute lock, but nothing's a lock in UFC, so let's go. Terrance McKinney versus Damir Hadžović. Some people are saying Terrance McKinney's a lock, but I'm not going to say that. Minus 450 for Terrance McKinney. Damir Hadžović plus 350, which was around 2.5 weeks ago, 3.5 weeks ago. Now, the week of the fight, Terrance McKinney's a minus 460, and Damir Hadžović is a plus 320. One of the biggest favorites on the entire card. And like I always say, the best way to describe McKinney is a mystery box. I will say now Terrance is matched up against Damir, a relentless wrestler who has lost to Moicano and currently just lost to Mark Jacasey, where he was taken down 8 times. If Damir can get this fight to the ground, I know he gets taken down sometimes, but he could get Terrance in trouble. This is a first round KO type of finish for Terrance McKinney, but we'll see if he's able to get the KO. Majority Tapology is favoring him to get the KO, but I will say sometimes at the smallest bit of adversity, Terrance McKinney folds. You can't trust his chin, and this is a minus 1-800 gambler type fight. With that being said, guys, I'm taking Terrance McKinney by KO. This is going to be one of those fights where it's an absolute bang. It's going to go absolute bang, like Drew Dober, like the Drew Dober fight. He drops Drew Dober. Drew Dober comes back, springs back up. He's fighting, and it's a very competitive first 7.5 minutes. If there's an over 1.5, I might take it. I will say, though, sometimes the under 1.5 is more than likely to hit in a Terrance McKinney fight. He just lost to Esteban Ribovics brutally in the first round. We know what that does to you, what type of KO that does to you. We know his chin is no longer there. That KO from Bonfim is going to take some life off. It's going to take some years off your life, to be honest. I will say Terrance McKinney should be the pick. Majority Tapology picking 91%. This is 1-800 gambler type of fight. I'd rather bet on the Jasudavicius fight than Terrance McKinney. I'd take Terrance McKinney by KO, but I'm going to be taking Terrance McKinney by KO on points because I don't like that factor where he's not able to get the finish. Damir Hadžović ends up being a lot tougher than we expect him to be, and he's not able to get finished, and it goes to decision. I like by KO on points. Honestly, we do know that Terrance McKinney should be able, on paper, he should be able to get the KO, but more than likely, the unknown happens, and sometimes he faces a little adversity, and before you know it, this fight's in the second and third round. So I'm going to be taking, sorry about that, guys, I'm going to be taking Terrance McKinney to win this fight, and I'm going to take him by KO. I'll take him by KO. I'll go second or third round KO. I'll go second or third round KO. He should be able to find this KO. We should say, though, Renato Moicano was able to finish him. Inactivity is on the Damir Hadžović side. Ring rust, I don't know if you guys want to say ring rust. 2 years and 6 months ago, the guy who he lost to is no longer in the UFC, Mark Jacasey. He got cut for being boring. So, give me Terrance McKinney to find the KO. Let's go. Bounce back win for Terrance McKinney. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. I know he recently is coming off of a very, very brutal KO to Esteban Ribovics, but he should be able to bounce back. Shamil Gaziev versus Thomas Petersen. Thomas Petersen, the heavyweight GOAT. I don't know. Let me know. Sorry about that. I didn't mute my mic. Minus 390. 2.5 weeks ago, minus 390 for Shamil Gaziev, and Thomas Petersen was a plus 280. Now, the odds have not changed at all. Shamil Gaziev is still a minus 390, and Thomas Petersen's a plus 280. When I mention Shamil Gaziev, I always have to mention his first main event against Rosenstrike, where we know Rosenstrike is also fighting on this card, but Rosenstrike has he has a tough matchup on his hands. I would say a bigger test than Shamil does. Shamil folded. He folded his first main event against Rosenstrike, was struggling, his cardio was not on his side, and he ended up getting picked apart. The fact that Shamil Gaziev wasn't able to find a finish over Dontel Mays is what could be a massive red flag in this fight, but I will say, because he's matched up against Thomas Petersen, who's a decent wrestler and he's looking for a body lock to wrestle, and he always clinches, this fight's going to be a lot more competitive than a lot of people expect it to be. If there's an over 1.5, it's probably going to be juiced. If there's an over 2.5, I'd take my risk because we know sometimes Shamil Gaziev is a guy who's either going to finish you early or he might go to distance and fight at a slow pace. Petersen just won by decision over Muhammad Usman, where I personally picked against him, but Thomas Petersen surprised me like he always does. This will be a tricky fight. Shamil has got to be working on that cardio. If you have not been working on that cardio, you are not going to have any success in Saudi Arabia. I do think this fight goes a full 15 minutes, but I think Shamil might win by decision. Seems like he needs to always fight at a slow pace. Shamil is always a massive favorite, but he struggles with a simple jab. Maybe if Thomas Petersen's working the kicks, if he's working the leg kicks, if he's trying to work his pace, if he's trying to fight at a little bit of second gear, third gear, fourth gear, maybe we're in the second round, halfway through the second round, Thomas Petersen turns up the volume. I think Thomas Petersen can have a lot more success than a lot of people expect him to be. The fact that he's a massive underdog, the bookies are favoring Shamil Gaziev to... The way that they favor Shamil Gaziev, they're favoring him like if he's going to find a KO. If he's going to find a KO, the only way Shamil Gaziev can fit his price tag is if he gets a finish inside the distance, to be honest, for me. But I will say Shamil Gaziev can fit the price tag if he wins by unanimous decision. I like the over 2.5 in this fight. I like Shamil Gaziev by points, but I will say I like Shamil Gaziev by KO on points more, because we know Shamil Gaziev is a guy who might not be able to find that finish. And if he's not able to find the finish, he wasn't able to finish Dontel Mays. So the fact that you're not able to finish Dontel Mays, but we can't put too much pressure on that. We can't put too much investment on that, because it could have just been one bad fight. One bad fight. Now he got 10 times better in the next appearance we see him. I'm going to go Shamil Gaziev. I'll go by KO on points, but specifically I'll go by unanimous decision. I'll go 29-28, 30-27, and 29-28. Let's go. Shamil Gaziev, let's go, my guy. Let's go. This is by far probably one of the fastest breakdowns I've ever done, guys. This card is only 11. This card only has 11 fights. Damn, this card was looking good. Now it's all right. It's still good, though. We got to be optimistic. Muhammad Naimov was minus 265. Kaan Ofli was a plus 200. Now, the week before the fight, Muhammad Naimov is minus 295. Kaan Ofli plus 220. We know Kaan Ofli just got flatlined by Marion Santos. The over 1.5 didn't even hit in that fight. I like Naimov by decision. He needs to stay sharp. We've seen Naimov fight at 155 against Jamie Malarkey. I like his striking. It should be solid enough, but his cardio needs to get better and his decision-making needs to get better. I do think Ofli tries to wrestle here, at least shoots a takedown. If Naimov can prevent himself from getting controlled, he should be able to win this fight. Some say he just straight up quit against Lima, but some say he didn't. But many heavily hate Naimov. I will say I enjoy Naimov, I enjoy his fight style, and I enjoy watching him scrap, no matter who it is. When he wrestles, sometimes he does better in the clinch. He's looking to explode, strikes, and he can't, sometimes if he can't have success, he decides to wrestle. He just recently lost by sub to Felipe Lima, who Felipe Lima just beat Miles Johns by decision. So we know Felipe Lima is really, really good. Now matched up against a BJJ black belt, solid takedowns and lackluster striking, has an issue with height and reach, looks to wrestle, but gets taken down as well. And he is explosive, but he just lost by KO to Marion Santos, who we mentioned before, brutally, where he tried to wrestle, but he lost. Naimov by decision for me, but I will say Naimov was losing against Jamie Malarkey before he caught him, and sometimes he fouls a lot. He got dropped by Lima. Let's see if his chin holds up. Like I said last time, but I'm going to add to it. I'm going to add Kaan Ofli can win this fight if he decides to wrestle. If he improved his wrestling, if he's able to control the wrist, if he's able to gain momentum, get the takedown, get him down, control him. Maybe he's not going to have so much success on the control time, because we know Naimov has pretty good takedown defense. He's only 11-3, and his toughest matchup, he already faced his toughest matchup in my opinion. I think Felipe Lima is 10 times of a harder matchup than Kaan Ofli, but styles make fights. 30 years old, Muhammad Naimov should be the younger fighter. He is the younger fighter, but he also should be the fresher fighter and the faster fighter. Within the first and second round, he should be able to win, and maybe he loses the third round in my opinion. Just like he was able to lose I believe he got submitted in the third round against Felipe Lima. Excuse me. I'm just getting a little sick. Alright, Felipe Lima, he got him by submission, rear naked choke in round 3. 1 minute and 15 seconds. I will say that was because of his cardio and he was getting controlled a little bit. But I do think Muhammad Naimov should win the first and second. Maybe lose the third. Let's go Muhammad Naimov. Some people think he could be able to find a KO. I'll go by decision. Let's go Naimov 29-28 after losing the third round. I can't believe we're already on the main card, guys. We are already on the main card. Faris Ziam versus Mike Davis. Earlier when I streamed, I was like, who do you guys got? You guys got Ziam or you guys got Davis? Who do you guys got? Let me know. Plus 210 for Faris Ziam at the time. Mike Davis was a minus 280. Now, Faris Ziam is a plus 114 versus Mike Davis, who's a minus 146. A lot, if not the majority of money has been coming on Ziam. The guy who just KO'd Matt Frevola in Paris. Super tall, super good at managing distance, and he was able to get his first finish in the UFC over Matt Frevola. Beautiful, beautiful work in the clinch. He's a technician, and his bread and butter is striking. Now he will be matched up against Mike Davis, a decent wrestler, a decent striker, and a well-rounded 14 takedowns in his last 4 fights. He just finished Natan Levy, which is a beautiful win. Mike Davis has a good record, only lost to Gilbert Burns and Sadiq Youssef. Davis, 32, seems like Ziam found his rhythm. Some people say he gets injured many times, but I will say, guys, I'm going to be doing an official pick flip. I'm going Mike Davis. I'm going to take Mike Davis at minus 146. Majority Tapology is going Ziam. Maybe on Friday, I might do an official pick flip and go back to Ziam. But I will say, guys, I think Mike Davis should be able to win this fight. It's going to be a very competitive fight. 72.5-inch reach for Mike Davis. 75.5-inch reach for Faris Ziam. Ziam's going to be taller. He's going to be longer. He's going to be able to manage distance. But it's all a matter of whether he's able to defend this takedown. And it's not just one takedown. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 takedowns. Not like a Marab type of takedown, but I do think it's going to be more than 5 takedowns attempted. Mike Davis should be able to at least get some control. We do know there's a little bit of space in between Mike Davis's fights. I guess you can say the inactivity is on Mike Davis's side. Momentum is everything. Faris Ziam just finished. I mean, he won by split decision against Claudio Puelles. In my opinion, I thought he should have been able to finish Claudio Puelles, but he wasn't able to. He beat Jai Herbert. Beautiful win. And then he beat Michael Figlak. But I will say, these guys, if we take the activity out, both of these guys are on a 4-fight win streak, and both of these guys have the exact same amount of momentum. I hope Mike Davis is able to get him down. He should be able to control him down. We'll see. Killcliff versus Fusion XL Performance. This is going to be an absolute banger fight, no matter who wins this fight. May the best man win. I'm going to go with my guy, Mike Davis. Official pick flip. I won Ziam because I thought he should be able to defend the takedowns. But then I remember, if it's another takedown on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, sometimes chain wrestling ends up getting the better of the striker. So give me Mike Davis to win this fight by unanimous decision. I'll go 29-28 after losing the first round by not being able to get him down at all the entire first round. And then the second and third, he should be able to work his game plan. Let's go. One of my most anticipated fights on the entire card, guys. Vinicius Oliveira versus Said Nurmagomedov. We know Ikram Alaskara versus Muniz is out, unfortunately. And I can't wait for that fight to get rescheduled because that is a banger fight. But we got another banger fight, the real people's main event. Said Nurmagomedov was a minus 205. Vinicius Oliveira is a plus 158. The odds have not moved at all. The people's main event. Said isn't as active as many would like, but he's a beast. We just saw Usman Nurmagomedov win a close fight. And we know Umar just lost to Marab. Habib has been working. Oliveira sometimes shoots takedowns to prove a point. Excuse me, guys. My bad. So, Oliveira sometimes shoots a takedown when he doesn't need to. He sometimes shoots a takedown to prove a point. He shot a takedown against Ricky Simon. And some say he may not even have needed that takedown. Some say he didn't even have to take down Ricky Simon, but he just took him down because he wanted to. In my opinion, he just wanted to prove a point. With that being said, his leg kicks are on point as well. This will be a high-pace, high-output, high-volume type fight. Said might gas. He might gas out. But I do favor Said Nurmagomedov in a 3-rounder. If this was 5 rounds, I'm going to go my boy Lock Dog. I'm going to go Oliveira. But I will say, If you like Oliveira, take Oliveira by decision. I don't think Oliveira is going to be able to finish Said Nurmagomedov. If he's able to finish Said Nurmagomedov, I will be very, very, very impressed, guys. I will be impressed if he's able to finish Said Nurmagomedov. I like Oliveira by decision. I like the over 2.5, but I will say, guys, this fight is going to be an absolute banger fight. In my opinion, it's a pick your poison type of fight. It's Said Nurmagomedov by submission or on points, or Oliveira by KO on points. In my opinion, I like Oliveira by decision. But we have to remember we are in Saudi Arabia. The guillotine is by far one of Said Nurmagomedov's favorite finishes. This guy has, in 5 fights, he has 3 guillotine wins. His last fight was a guillotine win against Mayun Gafurov. Obviously, we know Gafurov just destroyed Nakamura. Now he's matched up against Oliveira, a dangerous, chaotic striker, super aggressive, and creative. The Rabona kick, shout out to all you guys who have taught me what that kick is called, is by far one of my favorite weapons in Oliveira's arsenal that I've never seen another UFC fighter use before. So he always impresses me with his flashy striking and his unique versatility in his entire arsenal. He dominated Ricky Simon by decision. He defended 9 takedowns. Oliveira's side kick to the knee, the Rabona kick, is a very tricky kick that I expect to see in this fight. One of my most anticipated matchups on this entire card. Very elite matchup. And like I always say, the arsenal of Oliveira could overwhelm Said Nurmagomedov, but I'll pick Said because in Saudi, if this goes the distance, we know they're going to favor the hometown favorite, but also because I think Said Nurmagomedov can catch him in a guillotine. I'm going to go by guillotine or decision. I'm going to go Said Nurmagomedov by submission on points. I'm expecting that guillotine to be money. I think if Vinicius Oliveira tries to shoot a takedown out of nowhere, that guillotine might be money. We know once Said Nurmagomedov has that guillotine, you're not getting out of that gilly. Said Nurmagomedov and gilly go together like bread and butter. Give me my boy Said Nurmagomedov to win this fight by submission on points. If you like Oliveira, take him by unanimous decision or take him by KO on points. It's a pick your poison type of fight, guys. I hope you guys are as excited as I am for this fight because this is an absolute banger fight. Give me Said Nurmagomedov by submission on points. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. Sergei Pavlovich versus Rozenstruik. Biggie boy. 2.5 weeks ago, Sergei Pavlovich was minus 250. Jairzinho Rozenstruik was a plus 190. Now, Sergei Pavlovich is minus 290. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is a plus 215. Excuse me, guys. Rozenstruik may have better footwork and striking defense, but sometimes that doesn't matter when we're at heavyweight. Most of the time, it will be a competitive first round. Sergei, the biggest fraud in heavyweight, good power, good speed, doesn't move his head at all, struggles with a simple jab, got absolutely destroyed against Volkov where he pushed Volkov after because of how salty he was, because he wasn't able to get the win. He didn't attempt any takedowns, he will never attempt any takedowns, and he's a striker. And that's all he ever will be. Rozenstruik, a counter striker. The worst performance, obviously I always say this, is against Francis Ngannou. And earlier in my first prediction video, I went Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Then I pick flip to Sergei Pavlovich. Then we're here. I'm going to take Sergei Pavlovich. I'm going to take him by first or second round KO, guys. I think this fight doesn't go the distance. I think this fight ends by KO. And I think Sergei Pavlovich finds the chin of Jairzinho Rozenstruik. And unfortunately, I think he's going to put him out in the second or first round. I'm going to go Sergei Pavlovich by first or second round TKO. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Jairzinho Rozenstruik is able to survive the first round? Touch up the leg of Sergei Pavlovich. Throw a simple jab. Get out the way. Dance around the octagon for 15 minutes last and not get picked apart or not get caught at all with any type of bomb for Sergei Pavlovich. We know Volkov was able to do it. Volkov is tall, by far one of the tallest heavyweights in the game. It's a different ball game with Jairzinho Rozenstruik, guys. I'm going to go Sergei Pavlovich to bounce back after his loss to Tom Aspinall and to Alexander Volkov. I picked him against Alexander Volkov. Unfortunately, if he loses this fight, guys, like I always say, I'm never picking Sergei Pavlovich again. Come on, Sergei, show me what you got. Is it first round KO or is it going to be second round KO? Let's see. I'm going to go first or second round KO for Sergei Pavlovich. Let's go. We'll see if Russia ends up prevailing on this card. Co-main event now, guys. Nurmagomedov versus Michael Venom Page. By far one of my most anticipated fights on the entire card, of course. And I have very good notes for you guys. By far one of my most anticipated fights. If not my most anticipated fight on this entire card. Minus 188 for Nurmagomedov. Michael Venom Page is a plus 146. Now a week before the fight, I'll tell you guys how much the odds have moved. Nurmagomedov is a minus 192, and Michael Page is a plus 148. So they haven't really moved that much. Fun fact, Shara has never had a round scored against him in the UFC, even though he got outlanded and stunned by Petrosian in round 1. I trust the judges to not let him lose a decision in Saudi, which is a take that many people have. Many people, including myself, think that if this goes the distance, the Saudi Arabian judges are going to favor the hometown crowd favorite. But I have a major but. If he can make it close enough to rob MVP, some would be absolutely shocked. MVP turned Ian Gary and Kevin Holland into wrestlers, and Shara gets tagged by people way slower and less capable than MVP. Page has speed, height, reach, and overall striking ability, and Page has 2 eyes. I know everybody is mentioning, or maybe not a lot of people are mentioning, how Nurmagomedov only has 1 eye. This is by far one of his toughest tests in the entire UFC. Out of everybody he's faced, out of all the 15 people that Nurmagomedov has destroyed, this is by far his most toughest test, and we'll see if he's able to prevail. Striker's treat to watch. Not one guy will wrestle here, but we do know MVP is known for turning these strikers into wrestlers. Undefeated prospect coming off of one of the best KOs I've ever seen. Beautiful, beautiful KO. But we do know it was a little bit of a questionable first round. Petrosian and Nurmagomedov. And they still gave it to Nurmagomedov. Michael Venom Page recently lost to Ian Gary. MVP was winning in the striking department, but was out-grappled and almost subbed by a rear naked choke. This fight, we don't really have to worry about Nurmagomedov's wrestling. So it's more interesting and more favorable for a guy like MVP. He's super fast, super slick, and almost enters the matrix with the type of flow state performance that he's able to perform with. He fights Shara, hands low, can get popped with some shots. Shara has power, but I do think the speed is going to be unmatched. I think MVP is miles ahead of Nurmagomedov in the striking department when it comes to speed. With that being said, guys, I'm not going to official pick flip. Maybe with the ceremonial weigh-in when we see the face-off and I see MVP and he does that thing, maybe I might pick flip. But I'm still going to stay with my guy Nurmagomedov. I just have to mention how majority of Tapology is going Michael Venom Page. They think he's going to be too quick, too fast, and Shara is going to have to wrestle. And Shara doesn't have any wrestling. We know Bruno Silva was able to take him down. So with that being said, guys, be careful with this fight. It looks like the dog might prevail. We have Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. Banger fight. Nurmagomedov versus Michael Venom Page. Banger fight. But the reason why they're so good is because of how competitive they are. I will say I'm going to go Nurmagomedov to win this fight. I'll go by 29-28 unanimous decision. And let's see if my guy Nurmagomedov can deal with the speed, striking, agility, and footwork of Michael Venom Page. Let's go, my guy. I'll take him by KO on points. Let's go, my guy Shara. Let's go. The last pirate. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. What's his actual last name? What's his actual nickname? The Bullet. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Izzy versus Imavov, guys. Israel Adesanya minus 186. Nasruddin Imavov plus 144. Now the week of the fight. Israel Adesanya minus 188. Nasruddin Imavov plus 146. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, minus 180. No, plus 140. I think it goes the distance. Over 4.5, minus 200, I think. I don't have the exact odds. And Izzy by KO on points, minus 175. Imavov by KO on points, plus 180. Izzy by points, plus 125. And Imavov by points is a plus, I believe it's a plus. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to double check right now. Imavov by points, method of victory. is a plus 370. So I just wanted to throw that out there, guys. Izzy by points plus 125. Imavov by points plus 370. Imavov by KO on points plus 180. Izzy by KO on points minus 175. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 180. Pick your poison, guys. Pick your poison. So let's go. Let's break this card down. This is by far one of the best main events that we've had in a while, especially for 2025. I do not expect somebody to attempt a takedown. If there is somebody attempting a takedown, maybe it's because they're not having as much success in the striking department and it's a desperation type of takedown. The last 2 strikes to hurt Izzy are right hands from Strickland and DDP. Imavov has a sniper right hand, fast and accurate. Adesanya might get TKO'd by a straight right. It's always a possibility. Some say Izzy only beat people that stand there watching him. Anyone that pressure fights Izzy has a great chance of winning, is what some people will say. I like this. I like the over in this chess match. Izzy, his biggest problem is with himself. Like I always say, he has to enter this mentality. He has to enter this flow state. And he has to not get too emotional. He cried against DDP at the pressure. I say this all the time, but you can feel the pressure watching it. We're going to see how he looks in the ceremonial weigh-in, how his headspace looks, how all of that looks. But he's a kickboxing vet with great takedown defense and gets hit with around 3 significant strikes per minute. And he has a great overall striking defense. Imavov could mix in. He could. Honestly, he was taken down 4 times by DDP. So I do think Imavov could take down some. He could definitely mix in some takedowns as well. He has good footwork, but I do think the majority of this fight will remain on the feet. This fight is going to be a chess match depending on who can counter the other striker. I do think Nasruddin Imavov is going to be faster. He's younger, and he should be able to work the leg kicks a little bit. We know Izzy's heavy on the leg kicks. So if anything, this is going to be an absolute treat, a striker's delight. They both lost to Sean Strickland, not Sheen. Who the fuck is Sheen Strickland? They both lost to Sean Strickland, but Imavov had a short notice switch up at catch weight, and Sean Strickland came in at 210 pounds, and Imavov was able to win the 2nd and the 5th round. Sean Strickland against Israel Adesanya was only able to win the 2nd round. So if we're doing a little bit of math, if we're doing a little bit of MMA math, Imavov did better on short notice against Strickland because he won the 2nd and 5th round. He was able to take the 5th round off of Strickland. But styles make fights. This is a completely different matchup, and Strickland is not going to fight like Imavov or Israel Adesanya. So, with how both of these guys are going to match up against each other, there might be a late TKO. I know I say I'm going to take this fight to go the distance, but there might, excuse me guys, depending on their cardio, depending on how they look at the end of the fight, 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, depending on the pace, depending on the output, it's a counter-striker matchup. Imavov is going to be looking for that right hand darting straight across the octagon. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a little 3rd, 4th, 5th round TKO from somebody. It's going to be a pick your poison type of fight. Imavov by decision or Israel Adesanya by decision. There is a likely chance that there's a TKO in this fight. But I will say, if we have to pick one way that this fight ends, it's probably by unanimous decision or even split. It probably goes a distance. With that being going full 5 rounds, we know Imavov sometimes has cardio issues. Against Jared Cannonier, it was a little bit of an early stoppage, but he was able to do something that Israel Adesanya wasn't, and that's finish Jared Cannonier. We do know Izzy is a guy who sometimes can win when his opponent is just staring at him and he gets time to work. If Imavov can increase his output, his volume, and his striking ability, he should be able to win this fight, guys. And unfortunately, guys, I'm going to do an official pick flip, guys. I'm going Nasruddin Imavov, guys. I'm going to go with Imavov maybe by Friday. Last minute predictions, final face-offs. Maybe I switch to Israel Adesanya, but I'm going to go Nasruddin Imavov, guys. I think he should be able to win this fight. The more and more closer it gets to this fight, guys, the more and more I think Izzy's going to sell. He's going to slip around the cage. Something's going to happen. And I feel like Israel Adesanya, he needs everything to go right in order for him to win. And if there's a little bit of adversity, if there's a little bit of cardio fatigue, if there's something that's not going his way, just like momentum, this could be Imavov's match to win. Very low confidence. I'm going to be picking Nassourdine Imavov, and I'm going to go by 48-47, 48-47 split. Okay, let me repeat that. 48-47 split, Nassourdine Imavov, 48-47 split, Israel Adesanya, and for the winner by split decision, 48-47, Nassourdine Imavov. I'm going to go Imavov, guys. He has a 3-fight winning streak. Obviously, we know Israel Adesanya has only lost to champions in the UFC ever as well. His pro MMA, guys, he's only lost to champions, guys. This guy is the best of the best. He's lost to Jan Blachowicz, Alex Pereira, Sean Strickland, and DDP. This guy is only lost to the best. So who am I to say that Imavov is going to destroy him? I don't think he is. I think he's going to easily eke out a nice split decision. The more and more I look at this fight, guys, the more and more I feel like this fight's a lot closer than a lot of people expect it to be. And if it's a striker's delight, Imavov has a good chance. And who knows, he might sneak in a nice little takedown round 3. Israel Adesanya's not looking himself. He's leaning against the cage a little too much, trying to look for the hooks when he leans back. Trying to look for the hooks. And Imavov's going to be looking for that straight right. He's going to be looking to manage distance. And we know Imavov has lost to Phil Hawes. And he lost to, correct me if I'm wrong, let me just double check, Sean Strickland. So with that being said, guys, they both lost to Sean Strickland. But the Phil Hawes fight, you can see Phil Hawes was able to get control. He was able to get him down. And he was able to implement a good victory, a good game plan for him to beat him by unanimous decision. I think it was 29-28. But it was a pretty dominant performance from Phil Hawes. That's all I want to say. I'm going to be going Imavov, guys. Let me know what you guys think, guys. Do you guys think that Israel Adesanya is able to finish this fight? Is he able to win this fight, guys? Let me know. I'm going to go Imavov by split decision. I'll go 48-47. Let's go, my guy. Maybe by Friday I do an official pick flip. But I'm going to go Nassourdine Imavov, guys. He should be able to win this fight. Let me know what you guys think, guys. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it. 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 Peace.